Oh my goodness, we've made it to episode 100! Welcome to New Meta Podcast, the centenary edition. 18 months of podcasting with me, Marco and Adam. Welcome to the podcast. Get to you in a moment, but incredible occasion. 100 episodes, triple figure dream. First things first, thank you to all the listeners that have listened, whether it be just 5 episodes, 50 episodes, or every episode. I have a lot of fun making this podcast. It's really, really good fun. So thanks for listening. Thanks for enjoying the podcast and supporting us, getting involved in Discord, and indeed leaving questions for us for this episode. We have quite a lot of questions to go through, so hopefully you'll do it quickly. Marco, welcome to the podcast. We're finally here. We've reached the promised land. We're established.
Wow. Incredible scenes. Very excited to get here after a lot of anticipation. I'm interested to calculate how many hours it's been. So like you say, 18 months, 100 episodes, X hours. Not quite done the research, but very excited to do this podcast. It'd be great to get in some questions from the listeners, and appreciate everyone's listening. It's been a really fun journey.
Yeah. Fans are on the pitch. For sure. Pitch invasion at the end of the game. Not that this is, a finale or anything, but fans are nevertheless on the pitch. Adam, likewise, welcome to the podcast. You have an incredible attendance record. I feel like you've been on every single pod other than like 1 or 2 of the TI pods, which are kind of special occasions. I can't even say that. So, congrats.
I think I'm at 98 out of 100.
That's strong. I think that's the best record.
How many have you missed?
I think I missed 2, so maybe I'm on the same as you. But
Marco's missed far more than that.
Yeah, definitely more than 2. You've missed TI ones, though, so in terms of time away from the podcast, because those were like mini episodes, I think you're winning.
True. You said this wasn't a finale. Should I, uninstall League? I thought we were making the switch.
Yeah. I mean, like we said last episode, that's dark. I'm not sure we're ready for that kind of dark humor yet.
We were going to see how far an immortal Dota player translates into League.
The question that Reddit once answered is, we get an immortal Dota player and whatever the equivalent is in League, I have no idea, I don't even know, Diamond or something? I don't know. Do the switcheroo, see what happens. Before we get to the questions then, let's do a quick how have games been. Marco, you mentioned you hadn't have much to report. How have your games been in the build-up to this encircled day in your calendar?
So not lots of unranked games. When I have played real games, I have continued my hype train, notably the Juggernaut. I'm very into the Juggernaut right now with this Aghanims. I reiterate, Yasha, Battle Fury Yasha, Aghanims, let's go. It's so fun, just slicing and dicing every 15 seconds. That was a successful game. And then another successful game, Hype Train, of course, the Ogre 1. Me and you, Adam, missed out on that game just now. But honestly, you play Ogre in some games and you just cast spells. And it's the most 101 W green gaming. It's very fun as well. So that's been it, really. Smashing it on those 2 heroes.
So your last week when you said your hero pool was going to be Pudge, Ricky, Ogre, now we've got a Juggernaut spinning into the picture. Yeah,
Juggernaut spins in when kind of the recent wins have been positive. Ricky's just you need to end the lost streak kind of hero, so he's like a mercenary that just comes out when you need a win. But if it's happy days, I'll put Juggernaut, Ogre, and a Pudge as the top 3.
Nice. Adam, likewise, how have your games been? Have you been nervous loading into Dota with the Centenary on the horizon, being able to concentrate on clicking spells?
Well, yeah, because I've just been playing Ags Lab.
Nice.
So, got tier 3 of that one done last night. Felt good. Probably would get tier 4 done this week. It seems doable. But
voice lines?
Yeah, voice lines. Those get spammed a ton, it seems.
Yes.
For real Dota, I got to play a mid Doom. which was pretty fun. Go like really greedy. Had like a 6-minute Midas and then a 17-minute Radiance. 840 GPM. So you're just like giga farmed. And I was against Bristleback mid. And Doom just destroys Bristleback in the late game because you get an Ags. And then every 3 seconds, you're breaking him for 6 seconds and stunning him. So he just has no Bristleback ever again.
Yeah, man. NA server, what a time to be alive. Doom versus Bristle mid. Feels good.
Yeah, and especially since they also had Medusa and Quap on their team. And it was Bristle mid. So like I lucked out.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be against Medusa for sure.
Yeah, we did an episode on offlaners in the patch last week, and we didn't talk about Doom. That was an oversight, because Doom's a hero and a half. You just press a button and you're top net worth. That's basically it.
Yeah, Doom good.
All those creeps.
Doom free Midas. You really shouldn't buy a Midas, but I just couldn't help myself. I just needed I got the double green arrow, so that's how you know you had a good game.
Yeah.
And then I tried that like gauntlet mode. You know, like that forgotten part of the patch or the battle pass. People were inviting me to go do it, and it turns out they were too far ahead of me. They're like tier 5, and I was still tier 3, so you can't queue together. So they're like, well, just queue a game solo, and I tried it, and it is like so woefully imbalanced. They were just talking about how easy it is because all the games are imbalanced. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a try. And they give you roles based off of MMR. So I get in there, and it tells me I'm safe lane, which means there's someone, like the mid laner's higher than me. So we had a 6.3k, and then me at 5.7k, and then our team trailed down to Guardian too.
Wow.
That was it was like giga imbalanced, but then the 6.3k switched to hard support. So he played Bane, and then our lowest guy played mid. So that was pretty interesting. The other team only just had Ancients. So it was like a giga stomp because we had the 2 highest players. And I just played Terrorblade and like did Terrorblade things.
Nice.
But very fun. I don't get to play hard carry very often. And like I don't think I've ever experienced being Terrorblade with an Illusionist cape, and it felt amazing. That and new Metamorphosis not giving like minus move speed. Holy crap. TV is cool.
I kind of want to play TV. I very, very rarely play them, but I feel like I could get back. In terms of my games, don't have a lot to report. That said, I did play 2 games of ranked Dota 2 for the first time in months. 2 solo ranked games. One.
Let me guess, Lena?
Nope.
TA?
Nope. Pugna.
Pugna.
Yeah, so I played 2 games. One was a really good game, like a 45-minute game. We were very far ahead and we should have won. We had a Spectre, and Spectre Pugna's such a nice combo because you just keep the Spec alive, and it's just really nice. But we ended up losing because TB got a Divine Rapier and pushed our high ground, and so they start hitting our tier 4s. We have 2 full HP tier 4s. They start hitting our tier 4s, and I've got 8 seconds left to respawn, and our buyback. So I'm like, oh crap, they're nuking our base, but I respawn in 8, 7 seconds, 6 seconds. I don't even get out of Fountain when I respawn before our throne dies. That's how fast they nuke down our base. So that was kind of like a crazy loss out of nowhere. We were really far ahead, and then they just take a tier 3 and just go throne and mince it faster than I've ever seen. So Rapier TB is very, very scary.
He had a leveler as well.
Oh god, yeah. That's going to be crazy. And then the other game I played wasn't really a game. I played a Chikiro, but we had a guy that abandoned like 3 minutes in or something, so whatever. Other than that, not a lot to support. Did just play a puck. I was on a 5-loss streak, so I'm glad that we got in a game before the pod to get things straight again. Marco getting the MVP over me in incredibly controversial fashion.
That's all Marco does is get MVPs. It doesn't matter what he plays. It's just MVP.
Incredibly controversial fashion. This is wait a second, is this right? My Dota buff says you have 13 kills. I swear you had more than that.
Don't think so. I don't think it'll lie.
Okay. So you're 13 kills, 2 deaths, 25 assists. I'm 22 kills, 0 deaths, 22 assists.
Yeah, and 2 deaths at the end. 2 deaths at the end. Okay, gaming overlooks it.
What about damage dealt?
That's easy in my bag.
And GPM?
Yeah, 37 versus 31. The
GPM's in my bag.
GPM's like almost the same. If there was a stat for like stun and utility, I'm a puck. I've gone Ags. I'm stunning people for a long time. Anyway, not that I'm like bitter about that or anything. But that's the most recent game. And beyond that, I haven't got anything to report. So,
well, you just reminded me, because you lost that game to a TB. It reminded me of my Techies loss I had with Dynamic, where we had a 600%. You know, you put in those tokens. We had a 5-stack and everyone put in tokens, so it was like 600%. If we won, we would got like 4 battle pass levels.
Oh.
And like we were throning, and they backdoor like throned us.
Ugh.
And it just felt so bad. And then they were very rude after
Ugh.
in the post game. But it was just like we had Techie Sniper, and we had it, and then we didn't have it. So it's one of those games where the enemy LC gets really big, like 280 damage buff, and then they can just like boost a travel in and backdoor you. Just like press the attack and just take all your buildings.
Yeah, that's pretty gross.
Yeah, 4 levels up in smoke.
4 levels up in smoke.
4 like battle pass.
Oh,
levels.
I see.
Yeah, you're like we're 1,000 HP on this building away from like doing the impossible, and then it's gone.
Yeah, it feels bad. Let's do some questions. We have plenty to get through. I don't know if we'll get through all of them. If we don't get through all of them, we will get through them soon. As in, we'll answer a couple at the start of each episode for a while. I'm hoping we'll get through a good chunk of them, though. Not all of them require in-depth answers.
How are we going to do this? In order? Or are we going to,
I'm going to start with a non-Dota one that I've picked out.
Okay.
And then we'll do whatever after that. Maybe in order after that. Do some Dota ones after that. Non-Dota questions. I guess we'll take it in turns to read them as well. I'll start reading this one. This is from Anon. So thank you, Anon. What are your go-to options from an ice cream van? First of all, controversial for Adam there, describing it as an ice cream van.
Yep.
And well, have you all read this one? Do you know this person's put forward their suggestions for what our ice creams will be?
Yeah, this person's got in for that Flame Award.
Because he said that you wouldn't get a flake on your Mr. Whippy.
I mean, it's pretty harsh.
Who in their right mind wouldn't get a flake with their Mr. Whippy? That's a question I want answered. That's like a Techies player thing to do.
We'll read the whole question.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I'm guessing Stan is a Twister or a tropical Solero kind of guy. Adam would go for a double chocolate caramel magnum. Marco is a plain Mr. Whippy no flake.
But I don't know what any of those are.
We need Kikona translation. I don't know what it is though.
Well, I know what a Magnum bar is.
Okay, yeah.
But a Mr. Whippy no flake.
Oh, that's cultural, Mr. Whippy.
That's like it's just the one that with a basic ice cream machine, and you just pull a lever and it just comes out on a cone. Sure. What do you call it?
Like just soft serve ice cream?
Yeah.
Or just like an ice cream cone?
Yeah, just like an ice cream cone with some basic white vanilla ice cream on it.
Yeah, but what's flake?
A little bit of chocolate, a little small bit of chocolate that you stick in it.
Wow, no flake.
Yeah, no flake. Yeah. Marco, what are you buying from the ice cream van? You like Twister, right? Do I remember this correctly? Aren't you a Twister person?
I always like the ones where you had to kind of squeeze them up, like the iced flavor ones.
Calippos.
Calippo. I always thought they were pretty decent.
Ice. So your favourite thing to buy from ice cream is flavoured water that's been frozen. I never liked those. I never understood why people get them. I'm much more about the ice cream lifestyle. See, I would go Magnum. I would take what this Anon has attributed to Adam. I would take the Magnum, I think. Adam, do you have anything to say from your ice cream van truck?
Oh, so it's an ice cream truck, first off. Does yours play hopefully it plays a song as it drives through the neighborhood?
Yes, of course.
Okay. I'm sure it's some other, it's probably God Save the Queen or something, like some other song. But
yeah, that's exactly what it is.
I'm looking at I think it's called a Good Humor bar. It's like an ice cream bar on a stick, but the outside's covered in I think.
Oh, I see it. That's a bit like a knobbly bobbly for for UK people. It's like a knobbly bobbly from what I can see.
Knobbly bobbly.
Yeah.
Or they also had SpongeBob ice cream or Spider-Man ice cream bars where they're shaped like the character.
Okay.
And you would just eat SpongeBob. And they might have had bubblegum eyes or something like that, if I remember correctly. But mostly whatever this hobbly bobbly bobbly thing is.
Nice. I think that's answered.
Yeah.
Marco, do you want to take us somewhere else? Do you have a question?
Do you want me to stay in the non-Dota realm, or?
Oh, completely up to you. Maybe, I don't know, maybe alternate? I've literally have no idea. We can do whatever.
How do we make sure that once we've answered one, do we strike it through or something?
Yeah, we'll do that. I'll strike the one through.
Okay, I've seen a pretty good Dota question. So this is from our good friend listener Galfridus. I believe he's a member of the Discord channels. Yes. The question is, your pub teammate is master tier on the hero they drafted. What hero earns them the most respect for the master tier? And adversely, what hero makes you lose the most respect for them?
That's a great question. That is a great question. Adam, do you want to tackle this one first?
Yeah, so least amount of respect is probably Invoker.
Yeah.
Because I hate the hero. Or if it was a pub stomper, if they pick a Husker or a Brood.
I'd be impressed by a Husker 25, to be honest.
I've seen a Brood 25, and I was definitely not happy.
Yeah.
Most respect? Probably be something like an Elder Titan.
Wow, Gainsworth, Love and Life.
Yeah, something that's not that popular.
You
know what I mean? I wouldn't say Chin, because Chin is actually really strong.
Yeah, I don't know what Marco feels like, but there's different ways for me to look at this question, because in some ways, if I loaded into a game and saw a Warlock 25, I'd be like, Jesus, this guy's like a hero. This guy is on another level, how they're able to play so many games of Warlock. That's impressive. But it's not like some flashy, this guy is going to be fun to play this game because we've got a level 25 Earth Spirit on our team, do you know what I mean? So there's different ways to think about it.
That's why I respect it the most, because it's not flashy. It's like a grind.
Yeah, I could see that. Maybe something like, I don't know. I honestly don't know. there's a lot of Meepo 25s. I think Omni Knight 25 is kind of weird. Who plays Omni Knight that much?
Action Slacks.
Yeah, I guess so. Slacks, yeah. So most impressive. I don't know if I had to pick a respected. Most respected. If I had to pick a single most respected, I'm peering up at my Dota poster right now. Maybe Darkseer, honestly, it'd be pretty funky. I don't know if that's respectful, though. I think Earth Spirit's quite respectful.
I think Earth Spirit's a shout, because that is a technical hero that's hard to pull off. In a similar vein, for respected, I would lean to the support lifestyle, but someone like Warlock wouldn't be at the peak, because you lose a bit of respect for playing such a dull hero. So I'm feeling like Jakiro, if someone was level 25, because I'm a fan of the hero as well, I would that kind of adds to my respect, and it's this POS 5 game in, I'd be like, yeah, lots of respect to you, dude. Jakiro.
What about Lich or Crystal Maiden smiley face?
Don't respect.
They're too basic, I think. They're basic.
Yeah, I think too common as well, compared to a Jakiro.
feels bad.
I'm playing imagine like Undying 25. That'd be pretty wild. Like that'd be kind of crazy. I think I can't really look past Techies for least respected though.
Techies 25. I was about to say that one is a monk of S.
It's so there's so many as well. I feel like I see that reasonably often.
What about a Tinker 25?
I don't mind Tinker 25. I find Techies and Invoker less respectful, honestly. I mean, Invoker's kind of cool.
Like, you're in for just a slog.
There are other 25s that make me more scared, honestly, than that. But yeah, it's up there. I mean, a Pudge 25 is kind of annoying as well.
I was going to say Tinker for the most disrespectful level 25, because a Tinker, not only is it so painful, like, if you're winning and it's going to drag out games, it's just horrible to play against. If you're losing, I mean, Tinkers can just completely take a game over and then it's just stompy, particularly if it's some like level 25 super player. Whereas a Techies, although it is pretty toxic, it's not as painful to play, I don't think, as a stompy Tinker or a turtle Tinker.
Yeah, that's fair. And then the final shout out I'd give to a core, maybe like a Death Prophet would be kind of cool. Because the heroes. That. Did we? Oh yeah,
or was that
guy playing support Death Prophet. Yeah.
I played against him later, actually, and he was Death Prophet again. Wow. It's like there's not that many 25 Death Prophets, and there's like, oh yep, I know this guy.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I hope that's satisfied Galfredus. I have a terrible history pronouncing names after. Can't even remember the guy that was top of the guild.
Wasn't it Aesthetics?
It's Enkidu.
Was it Aesthetics that I missed? No, I wouldn't pronounce Aesthetics wrong.
Yeah. No, who was it? It was someone high up in the guild points, which is why I think it was Aesthetics.
Enkidu's leading it right now.
Enkidu's, booming it. But he didn't get Enkidu's name wrong.
Oh.
Anyway.
Mumbly, crumbly, bibbity, bobbity.
Details. Adam, do you have your eye on a question? You get the next pick of the bunch.
I really hadn't. But here's one that calls me up by name. It says, this is from user Punt Cuffins. And it says, Adam, why and how do people from the USA classify chili as a soup? After finding this out in 2014, I have been confused for 6 years. And my rebuttal would be, what kind of chili are we talking about? Because there's lots of different chili in the United States. Are we talking about the type of chili you put on your hot dogs? You're talking about a thicker chili? Or like a thinner chili, or something like with beans or with meat. Lots of different kind of chilies in the United States.
Yeah, so, chili as a word means a lot of things in America. It doesn't mean that much in the UK. It just means chili. The word chili just means like the vegetable, like the pepper, like a chili pepper. Everything else would be called something else. But whereas I know that you can have like, Marco, you know the dish you have with like mincemeat?
Chili con carne?
Yeah, like chili con carne. They just call that chili in America.
Do people in the UK not call that chili sometimes?
Do they? They just call it chili con carne, right?
I feel like they sometimes do both.
Yeah? Okay, fair enough. And then like chili sauce, hot sauce.
Chili with meat. That's all that.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, so like, the stuff you would put on like a hot dog or something would be pretty thick. It would be mostly just mincemeat, you know what I mean? That's been cooked down. And some like chili purists would say like you never put beans in chili. It's only supposed to be just like the spiced meat that you've cooked down. And then other people, it's like more of a dish with like beans and more hearty and more of like a soup. I would consider it. Ooh, it's kind of tough. But I would kind of lean more towards it being a soup than like a condiment. I don't know. Right. I don't know what else you would call it other than a soup, because it is just like meat and like a liquid sauce.
Right.
That you've cooked.
Okay.
Anyways.
All I can say is that punt cuffins is probably going to be confused for a few more years.
Yeah, I don't know if I definitively answered it, but
Yeah, not sure.
I enjoy chili.
Yeah, I enjoy chili too.
No, you enjoy chili con carne.
Yeah, that's true. Let me go to more of a specific Dota question. This is a fun one from Professor Donga. So thank you for this question. You're only allowed to play 3 heroes from each attribute in ranked. Everything else is locked out for you. What heroes do you pick? Now, do we want to... I guess let's answer the question literally, actually. Because you could also answer it, you only get to play 3 heroes from each attribute, just full stop. But let's do it as if it's for ranked. So we're tryharding here. We're in tryhard mode. Marco, you got 9 heroes to choose in total. Are there any that are just guaranteed on the team sheet from day one?
So, Ricky's on the team sheet. Antimage is on the team sheet.
Still thinks he's a POS 1 player in ranked.
I am, man. Who else would my 1 be? Maybe a Void, honestly. I think Void, I can get bits done.
So what was that? Void, Ricky, and...
Anti-Mage.
Oh, for your Agi, okay.
For the Agi, yep. Do you want me to do Strength?
Let's maybe all do Agi.
Yeah, I'll do Agi.
I would say... It's interesting, I feel like I have to pick Meepo, even though I haven't played him for like 7 months. So for Agi, I would probably go... Meepo, probably Viper. This is ranked after all, excuse me. Need to try hard a bit. So Meepo, Viper, and I think I need a carry. I would be tempted by Faceless Void as well, honestly.
I think you should put Razor in there.
Yeah, Razor's a good shout, yeah. Razor's a good shout. These are all mids, though. I kind of want a POS 1. But yeah.
But if you go POS 1, you're not climbing, are you? It's a one-way road.
Wow.
That's true, but... Maybe Razor, yeah. Maybe I just commit to the mid role and I do Razor, Viper, and Meepo. I'm sorted. I say, okay, fine, I'll go with that.
Adam?
Vengeful Spirit, Venomancer, and probably Mirana.
Interesting,
yeah. Razor's another shout for level 25. I'd respect a level 25 Razor. Because that's
I bet he's got a good voice line.
Yeah, he's got Zap Your Ass.
Oh, yeah, sure. That's a good one.
Yeah. Strength? Don't say Pudge, Marco.
Yeah, I can't say Pudge. If this is ranked, right?
Yeah, it's ranked, yeah.
Yeah, no Pudge today. In a previous patch, Mars would have been first on the team sheet, but the guy's too weak for me these days. He's not broken enough for me to win with. So I wouldn't choose Mars. I would choose Centaur, for sure. Shout, yeah. Lifestealer is actually one of my most go-to ranked heroes with good success. So in the safe lane. And then, who would my 3rd and final strength hero be? My strength pool's pretty fucking shit. There's like a DK mid or something if you just need to play some... My DK's not bad, it's a very basic hero.
Yeah, pop out a Wraith King maybe.
Oh yeah, that's a good shout actually. We'll say Wraith King then.
Yeah, that's a good shout. I have played a lot of Tusk in ranked, but I don't think I will go Tusk. I think I would take a Centaur as well, just to have a 3 in the pool if needed. I do like an Axe as well, but I think Centaur's a bit stronger. I'm very tempted by CK. I played quite a lot of CK. I like CK. And I think I would take Wraith King as well. So I'll go Wraith King.
How have you not mentioned Pitlord?
Oh, goodness. Wow, okay, yeah, Pitlord, for sure, thank you.
Stands statistically best ever hero.
Yeah, my best ever hero, Pitlord's.
Doesn't need it.
Underlord. Don't need it, yeah, just give me, like, Tusker, Spirit Earthshaker. Yeah, so Underlord, Centaur... Or maybe I don't need Centaur anymore. God, so many layers to this question, unbelievable. Underlord, Wraith King, and... Let's go Centaur. Underlord, Wraith King, Centaur.
What's Adam? Snapfire in there?
No.
Not anymore.
Abaddon, Legion Commander, and Beastmaster.
Beastmaster, interesting.
Pretty sweaty.
Not tempted by the Night Stalker. I have some strong memories of the Come Dine With Me Night Stalker.
No, he doesn't even really show up on my most played.
Okay.
That's what I'm going by, most played.
Yeah, that's fair. Marco, Int?
So Int's a funny one because there's a very strong divide between are you going to choose mid heroes or position 5 heroes, or even 4, position 4. And you could be kind of tactical and choose someone like a Void Spirit that can do multiple roles. Or do I have to just double down into the pos 5 because it's actually my strongest role and I'm actually god awful at mid now. So might have to go with that trend and say Jakiro, Bane, Disruptor if I want to win MMR.
Not Winter Wyvern?
Oh shit, Winter Wyvern, yeah. Who would I drop out?
Disruptor.
Yeah,
I'll drop out Disruptor.
I'll take Invoker, Enigma, Tinker.
Yikes.
Not seeing my Tinker? Oh, okay, take Invoker
I haven't
out.
seen your Invoker.
I'll take Invoker out, Tinker and Enigma stay, and then...
Enigma?
I joke.
Lena, right?
Yeah, Lena for sure. This is serious now. Lena for sure. I have to get a support in there, so I'll take Jakiro as my 5 or 4. Lena, Jakiro, and then it's so difficult because I really want Pugner, I really want OD. I played a lot of both.
Okay.
I played a lot of OD, to be fair.
You did.
Or do I take, like, a hero like Shadow Shaman's probably statistically my best in ranked, but it just feels grim. Necro as well, another hero that I love in ranked. Goodness, Necro, OD, and Pugner are all heroes that I've big time played. Oh, that's difficult. Maybe I'm just gonna take OD. I'll take OD.
Yeah, that's the stand hero.
OD, Lena, Jakiro. Fine. Adam.
Crystal Maiden, Lich, Enchantress. Easy.
Good to see Ench in there. That's good to see Ench in there. Nice.
With their upgraded Ags, Broink.
Yeah,
and extra attack range.
Someone bought Sproink in my other game, and it actually didn't look bad.
Well, it also gives attack range now.
Yeah. Okay.
Pseudo Dragonlance plus Sproink. Now it's actually good.
Yeah, okay. There you go. That's our entire hero pools there. We've been exposed. Now the pod know that I wouldn't actually choose Tinker. Exposed. Did I choose that one? Pretty sure I did. Marco, do you want to take the next?
So I'll go to the non-Dota realm and drop a little quick question from our good Dota friend Luke Monkey.
Oh god.
Quote, will Stan ever reach Divine again? Question mark.
Yes, I will reach Divine again. After playing 2 ranked games this week that I lost both, I will say confidently that I will.
Keep on holding Stan back right now.
Are you going to put a timeline on it? Or...
Okay, here's the timeline. When I move house, which I'm expecting to be in September, I'll be able to play. I'll have a bit more time to play, probably. It's one of those where I just don't have a lot of time. And when Battle Pass season is over, which will also be in September, I think the amount of party stacking will probably go down a bit. It might not, because I think guilds will probably stay. But maybe September would when I play more. So let's say before the new year. I'll give myself a lot of time there, 4 months. Let's say before 2021, I'll be in Divine. There you go. I'm hitting the table.
All right.
We're in. There
Lock
you go.
it in.
Guarantee it.
Final answer. It's really tough not to go with more food questions.
Let's do it. I mean, I have no...
Now here's... What do you consider the best patch in Dota history since you started playing? I like that question.
I don't have a great memory of patches. I mean, do you want to go first, Adam? Do you have a good memory of good patches?
My first inclination is 6.78, which is what TI3 was played on.
Right.
I liked that one a lot. Thought that, but that was, it feels like 100 years ago. So I don't remember what particularly I loved about it, but it made for a very exciting tournament. Was Wild Times back then. That was back when you could buy back and just immediately just keep farming. Basically, if you're a Nature's Prophet, you just buy back, go back to farming because it was worthwhile. And before, there was a time, right, when they made it to where you got reduced gold when you bought back. You remember that? This preceded that, and also you could you would buy a second BKB in this patch. You would use up your BKB, right? It would go down to 5 or 4 seconds, and instead of getting maybe a 5th item, you would buy a second BKB, and then it was a big thing. It was oh, they got the 10-second BKB again. Here we go.
Yeah, nice. So the TI3 patch. I mean, I wasn't around for that, so I can't really comment. Marco, are you in agreement? Do you have another patch that you can think of? Or?
That one was a lot of IO and Batrider as well. But
right.
Go on, Marco.
So this question was from Corrupted. Shout out to Corrupted. I can't really remember specific patches, really. I've always been in the school of not really having strong opinions about different patches. I know some people have these comments of, oh, the patch 3.5 years ago was terrible, and I've always just gone along the ride and enjoyed it. And so if any patch was to stick out in my memory, it's literally when Mars first came out, and I was just rinsing Mars 80% win rate in ranks because it was so broken.
That was your favorite?
Because I've really enjoyed every patch. I've never, say, bar the techies, not techies, the sniper troll patch, which was a bit of a blip. Or
ho ho ha ha.
Yeah, maybe that's not as good as every other patch, but every other patch in my eyes is equally good. DotA's always been amazing. I've never felt like I've enjoyed it more or less, bar the win streak of Mars. So,
and also we played a lot of Dota on that patch. That was got a lot of games in there.
Yeah, so the context of that patch was high.
Living in the team house, it was good.
Yeah, in the new meta house.
Yeah.
Yeah, so lots of good memories with that patch.
Yeah, I would say I'm similar to Marco. I don't have any patches that stand out that much. Having said that, though, I would say that my favourite patch would be 7.20, which I can't remember when that came out time-wise, but there was a lot of changes that I liked in that patch. That was the patch where they changed route to cancel a lot of channeled spells like TPs.
That was November 19th, 2018.
Oh, okay. So it's also where they changed spell immunity, so loads of spells didn't go through spell immunity anymore. They added Grimstroke to Captain's Mode. Grimstroke had already been around, but they added him to Captain's Mode here. They also added Kaya, they added Bringer Trask, they added Holy Locket, all stuff like that. They changed.
This is the deny giving gold patch.
Oh yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Deny gives gold. They also changed loads of the heroes. They changed Meepo so that it got rid of Geostrike and added Ransack, and everyone thought, myself included, thought that Meepo was killed because they changed the clone to only get 50% XP. But then it turned out that Ransack was so broken upon release that it didn't matter anyway, and he was 60% win rate or something. So I obviously enjoyed that, and this is when I was playing a lot of Meepo. So that's some things I remember about this patch. I had a really good time on this patch. I got a lot of wins in. I remember Necro was very strong. I think this was the patch where I went Atos Greaves on Viper and gained a KMMR or something. And
Atos on everybody patch?
Yeah. So I think 7.20 would be the one that I'd think of.
I quite like the patches when they introduced shrines for the first time. Thinking back, High Ground was so hard to break because there were 5 shrines.
Yeah, that was
everyone
ridiculous.
Would full heal on, and that was not this patch, but I just one that pops out in my head that I remember is one where Rubber Band and Comeback Gold was crazy. Of course, 7.0 when they added talents kind of changed everything.
I will ask a question that isn't on this list, but it's a question that has been sent to me on Discord that I've been meaning to answer for a while. It's actually sent in a couple of weeks ago. It's from Vanguard, big friend of the pod, Vanguard. And the question that he asked me is, if you could design a hero, what kind of hero would you design? And it's a difficult question because, my goodness, you could do anything. But just on a basic level, I suppose, what kind of hero would you like to see in the game? Marco, what hero would you add into the game? What do you want to see?
So the aspect that I would go for is the mobility. And when Void Spirit came out, part of me was like, so much of this hero having 2 mobility spells is exactly what I'd put into a new hero, where you can just be flying around everywhere. So I think that would definitely come into it if I was designing a hero, and then probably have one of the spells be some damage oriented spell so that I can get to play core on the hero and build damage items and hit creeps, because that's always fun. And then maybe what would the big ultimate do? Some like spell where you can just kind of play on the edge. I don't know what that would be. Some like dive potential spell. You know what I mean? Or you could jump for 1,000 units forward and like bring your teammates with you. Something like that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad Marco isn't Ice Frog. Because the first he's like, when they added this new hero with a ton of mobility, I thought, man, I really want to keep adding more mobility to all these heroes.
Adam, do you have any thoughts on a hero?
I would like a Agi support.
Okay.
Ranged Agi support that, because there aren't many.
Yeah, there isn't Vengeful Spirit.
Venge, and maybe like you could do like Veno.
Right.
There's not a lot of heroes that kind of go along that line. And I like the idea since
Bounty Hunter in my pubs.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, not
and
really.
Ricky back when Ricky was the same way at one point.
Yeah.
I like the idea of kind of like Dazzle, where most of his spells, all of his spells are physical. I think that would go well with the Agi support, because they would have more right click, more attack speed. So you could have like a physical damage Agi support. Probably a minus armor, but that's along the same lines as Venge. I was thinking like maybe you would either have like a disarm or like an ethereal thing, like a Pugna or like a I guess Oracle has a disarm. I don't know. It's hard not to, because you're like so your mind only goes as far as what's already in the game. So you're like, I will have an AoE spell that's like Pugna's, and I will do this spell will be my W, like this hero. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's hard. For me, I would say I'd quite like a micro hero, similar to Meepo, but not as cheesy all in, because Meepo's a very, all or nothing hero. I would like something like Brewmaster, but permanent split. Something like that. I mean, that would be a bit broken, obviously, but some sort of control hero with 3 different or 4 or 2 different units permanently that isn't as...
Okay, so you said 3 or 4 or 2. So 3 would be Brew, 2 would be Arc Warden, and 4 would be Meepo.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something like that. I would say maybe let's do 3. Let's go with 3. So like I said, Brewmaster, but split is just built into the hero, so it's just automatically 3 dudes or whatever.
You think they'd have 4 different spells each?
I don't even think they would necessarily have different spells each. Maybe it's a split between Brew Split and Spectre Horn, where it's sort of 3... You have 3 equally tanky clones / illusions, and you can change your main hero that spellcasts to either of them. So... kind of like Replicate, a bit like Replicate, I suppose, but you have 2 options rather than just the the old morph you could turn into.
Yeah, old morph.
Stands off to Seattle after this podcast, flying into the Valve office.
Funny, I kind of thought the same lines around replicate, because it's like, okay, my agi support, maybe they'll make a copy, and it's like, okay, that's Arc Warden. What if they made a copy of the enemy and they got to use their spells? I'm like, that's just a better Rubik, but just on. But you would like take that one hero as opposed to. I guess it'll just be another morph. You just be morph. Yikes! Yeah, here I am thinking that this hasn't been done before. It's in the game. You just be morphling because like you couldn't use the ultimate abilities and all the regular abilities.
Yeah, I mean they do a pretty good job adding in heroes. A lot of the heroes that they've added are very cool and unique. Snapfire, Void Spirit, Pango, Dark Willow, they're all very cool heroes. The unique heroes that aren't from Dota 1, I think, are all very cool, I would say.
I think this question kind of leads into another question, though.
Yeah.
And I would say that it's the mobility creep question, and I do think a lot of the newer heroes kind of have this. Let's see if we can find the mobility creep question.
Yeah, so I was going to ask this question. Shall I just ask it as my question?
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's from Slamming My Banana. A shout
Thank
out.
you, sir.
Question is, what do you think of the mobility creep in Dota? So with mobility creep, I mean the constant adding of movement abilities to the point where even the ultimate mobility hero Puck needs to get his/her abilities buffed with more mobility to stay competitive. And Ursa, Sven, etc. all get in movement abilities, so your Earthshock jump in and your Ag Sven stun flying around. Abyssal is changed, that's another jump spell. Omni/Ag's another jump spell. Dota almost becomes this whack-a-mole game where you need to constantly stun heroes, and positioning and strategic thinking become far less important in comparison to quick reactions. So I think it's an interesting point because, yeah, like you say, with the new heroes, a handful of them have come with mobility, Pango, Void Spirit, Snap a little bit. And then, like you say, these new spells have been changed and agonyms have been added and item changes to add mobility to certain heroes. So it's definitely more prominent. I don't think it's crazy prominent.
And like the most egregious would probably be Ursa Q and Puck W, right? Or just like...
The Ursa Q definitely more because that just allows him to keep on top of people much better.
It's just like, I guess it's, when I mean egregious, I mean like surprising. Like
they just added a massive component.
When they just like
spells,
put it in there, it was just like, what? You know what I mean? Like,
but I mean, the hero, I don't really think existed before that Q.
Ursa was on a downtrend,
Big downtrend.
And Puck's is just like a nice, it's like, it allows for more outplay, for sure.
Puck used to be, I feel like, one of those heroes in the bottom 10% of win rates. When
it was like one of the worst ones,
Yeah, so I think a mobility buff like that on the W. At first, I think it used to be a lot stronger in terms of how far you could Waning Rift.
Yes.
So it's not too big.
You were like jumping over cliffs and stuff.
Yeah, at the moment it's only kind of small. But then, you got things like Abyssal.
I think the point is, though, that rather than Valve have chosen to give Ursa and Puck, rather than buffing their abilities and buffing their numbers, they've just added in mobility. And they've also added this Abyssal. So it's that idea of what do we think about the fact that
Well, it's even with the patch where they buffed all the melee heroes' move speed.
Yeah.
Like, even that's just like passive mobility. And I do think the game has sped up. Like, I don't mean like the length of the game. I mean like the speed of the heroes are just faster.
Yeah.
They were before.
If you played Dota 1, you'd be like, oh my god, this is so slow, sluggish, everything's slow and
rapid across the map.
But I think it's fine. I like this mobility mechanic. I don't think it's too over the top or overly applied in places. Like, we've named a handful of examples, but that's out of like hundreds of heroes and hundreds of items.
I think... Sorry, go on. No, go on.
Well, going to the question, Slamming My Banana says, do you think Dota's become less important to position and strategic thinking versus quick reactions? And I think that's a bit too harsh on the game. I think quick reactions, I mean, it matters a bit, but you don't need quick reactions. You don't to really excel. You don't need Korean APM to be a good player. I think
not
positioning
like
is was still incredibly important. I don't think these mobility aspects make positioning less important. If anything, it makes it more important.
That's what I was going to say. I think more mobility makes strategy even more important. It's almost like trending towards Ag's lab level of like cooldown. What am I trying to say? Like managing everything. You got to keep everything in your head because of how things can move now. And it just seems like with shrines and then eventually outposts, and it's kind of like a more of a skirmishy game. And I think mobility just leads to more like uptime and the amount of like cool stuff you get to do.
Yeah.
And they kind of just want to like keep the tempo up. Like you're doing things, like you're moving around. And I do think, if it was up to me, I do think Void Spirit, it has a little too much mobility for my taste for like a hero. But like these other things are okay. Like Sphinx is like locked behind a 4,200 gold item. I think that's entirely okay. So when you put it on,
it goes
like
blink anyway. It's not that different, really.
Yeah, you put on like a level 1 hero, like Ursa. That was pretty crazy, and it has gotten dialed back from where it was really strong. But I do think you slamming my vagina, as Marcus said, is I do think he's kind of nailed that there is a trend of higher mobility coming into the game for sure. I think it's a conscious effort on the like Valve and IceFrog's part.
Do you think that's because they've got a competitive esports scene in mind as well, where they want this game to not look cool, but like pace of it, like you say, looks cool, more exciting, flashy, but it's not as flashy as other games, obviously, but it's definitely more active than previous years used to be.
They want heroes that look cool and are fun to play and are fun to watch. There's no doubt about that. But that's irrelevant of whether they've got a competitive scene. Well, I suppose the watching part is relevant. I would say, just to add my thing to the question, I agree with what you both said. And just to reiterate, the extra mobility, in my opinion, increases the importance of strategic thinking versus quick reactions, because when you have all this crazy mobility, you can do more on the map. There's more possibilities for your team. You have more options. So strategic thinking becomes more important. If you didn't have many options and you were just, building up to team fights, and it would become more about execution of the few options you do have. And then quick reactions and stuff like that would be very important. So I personally think that strategic thinking becomes more important. You look at the most recent TI, say, for example, you could say that OG kind of showcased how important mobility is, right? Where you just run at heroes. The game's in a weird place at the moment. I was talking about this actually in the week, and we were saying that we don't think that the game's slower than, say, how it was in the past patch or how it was at TI, where you just run at heroes and that's the best thing to do, just run. They've sort of artificially slowed down the games by making towers really, really tanky and stuff like that. So it's kind of an interesting position we're in now, and I think it's a shame we're not getting TI just in general. Obviously, it's a shame not getting TI.
I know what you mean.
But I'd be so interesting to see what the patch would look like. I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if it would end up looking like crazy dives or tier 3 dives while all the tier 1s are still up on the map and stuff like that.
The thing about that is that happened last TI, but if it happened this TI, you're taking twice as much damage from towers.
Yeah.
So I don't think it would happen for that simple reason.
No, you wouldn't dive towers. But I think you'd be like diving anywhere that isn't within tower range.
But then the enemy just goes behind the trees and the towers.
Yeah.
That's what they should do.
I mean, yeah. But then it's like, what, are you losing? Anyway, regardless, it's interesting. If TI happened, it's always interesting that TI provides that patch deep dive.
Yeah,
it's like the flesh out, like the optimization of the patch. We might never get it because we won't get the preeminent tournament.
A final point I'd make, kind of on the side of slamming my banana, is that I think maybe at the lower levels of the curve of players, if you are mechanically competent and able to take advantage of like using all your spells and all your buttons and all this kind of fast thinking, mobility, execution stuff, I think you can do really well, and there is a lot of potential for you to be really good in that one aspect and climb. But then I do think you will get to a point where you have to combine the strategic element of the game with your, say, button
macro
clicking
play with micro play,
to get to climb up higher. I think this mobility change and things like that, and the kind of maybe pace to the game, etc., allows for, say, you could just specialize in a hero and just like excel at one hero because you can click your buttons really good. But you then get to a point where you do need to complement it with the macro.
And he's right that you talk about lower MMR and stuff like that. The fact that there's such crazy high mobility does make games stompier in those lower MMRs. Take a hero like Void Spirit; it's like the ultimate pub stomp hero. If you go to like, I don't know, some rank that's way below you and pick Void Spirit, because of the mobility he provides, you can kind of like solo carry the game, just running around from bit to bit.
Yeah.
So I can see how his point applies to most pubs.
In that game, macro decisions don't really matter because you're just abusing your skill mechanically.
Yeah.
But that's always been the case, really. So,
and I will say that the pace of the game is a lot faster. Just because since we were discussing previous patches, if you went back to the TI3 patch and watched some of those games, there's a lot of downtime. There's a lot of 4 Protect 1. There's a lot of farming. There's a lot of ships passing in the night, no one wanting to fight each other. And it's more like a nostalgia goggles thing. Like, I think it is better for the game to be where it's at now, with all the like shiny baubles and doodads on the map, wanting you to do things and having more things to do if you're not the one farming all the farm.
Yeah, we don't want to be League of Legends where it's kill scores like 0-0 at like 40 minutes.
Yeah,
or whatever.
But someone's still like 5k gold ahead because of map objectives, and then that means it's insurmountable lead. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Adam, do you have a question? Do you have another one we want to answer?
This is a fast one from Professor Donger. Did we already do a Professor Donger question? I don't think so. Oh, we did one, but this is fast.
Okay.
What hero do you think should get the next Arcana, or what persona would you like to see? And since we are doing an Arcana vote, I'm always partial to a support, preferably one that I play. So that's basically anything. I mean, Wyvern would be cool, Disruptor would be cool, Lich would be cool, Crystal Maiden already has one. Wouldn't mind seeing like an AA or a Jakiro, but Jakiro is honestly like a sick kit of Immortals already.
After not having any sets after his remodel.
Yeah, exactly. Now, a persona I think would be pretty sweet would be a Vengeful Spirit persona before she became the Vengeful Spirit, like when she was up in the heavens with Skywrath Mage or whatever. I forget it's just like Chandelar or something is their name. Yeah, but before she loses her wings and falls and gets all grudgy, I would like to see that redeemed Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah.
And I think that's along the lines of a persona rather than Arcana.
Yeah, that's fair. Marco?
First things first, I'd just like to make an impassioned shout out to all those Ricky voters in the Battle Pass. Ricky edged the Disruptor. Very close. So thanks for everyone who voted. So on the Arcana, we'll get Ricky there. On the Persona, honestly, maybe Potem, Marana, I think could have a pretty banging Persona with the like tiger riding bow and arrow kind of thing. Pretty cool. I've always been a fan of Potem. I think you could make a pretty cool Persona with that.
Yeah. I find it hard to say. This question's really difficult. I think Void Spirit could have a cool Arcana. It's kind of a new hero, so it feels a bit weird saying Void Spirit. I do think I'd love to see a Meepo Arcana, or indeed a Meepo Persona. So yeah, I would probably say...
Persona would be Meepos as minions from Despicable Me.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I wouldn't... For some reason, I don't like minions. I don't know why.
I've never seen it, but
yeah,
just those minions show up everywhere. I'm trying to think of something you'd have multiple copies of. You're like for the Meepo persona, and like you could do minions.
Yeah, that would be. I'd take that for sure. Persona, Meepo Persona, and then the Arcana. Yeah, I'll go Void Spirit Arcana. You could do some changes. You could make his spells look very fun. Marco, you sound like the kind of person who doesn't drink the pot noodle juice after eating the noodles, whereas Stan clearly chugs it down like a pint of Doom Bar. Is this true?
No.
What's Doom Bar?
Like a drink, like amber ale, basically.
Okay.
I'd just like to clarify that drinking the pot noodle juice is high up there. I think that's a very good, very into that. So, and on his false.
Just like to clarify. Also, I don't drink pot noodles. It's disgusting.
What? Really?
Yeah, it's grim.
So, like,
pot noodles are
what?
awful. It's like plastic. It's awful. And also, it's way cheaper to get just 20p like super noodles, just like curry flavored super noodles from any supermarket. Pot noodles are rip off, and it's disgusting.
What I'd actually say, I drink the pot noodle juice before eating the noodles as well.
What?
So I wouldn't. Yes. Oh, I'd actually do the reverse to what Anon said. Obviously, have some noodles, but then you drink it down, and then you're just left with noodles and you finish them, rather than having the pot noodle and then having some like pool at the bottom at the end.
Mm-hmm.
True sight.
Also, this isn't a question. True sight, yeah. Behind the scenes, yeah. This isn't a question. This is just something. Well, I guess it kind of is a question. To what extent is the Lena Arcana an absolute travesty, and how badly does it require an update? Completely agree. It's the only Arcana I have. Courtesy of Adam. Thank you very much. Incredible Christmas present. Thank you very much. How can we, as a community, encourage Ice Frog to remake it? There's only one thing we can do to encourage Valve to remake the Lena Arcana, and that is probably to make it very clear that we'll be willing to pay for it again. I don't think they're going to rework it unless they're going to put it behind another paywall. They're not just going to give it to us for free, I don't imagine.
I like the Arcana, but I think I'm in the minority.
The head is cool. I mean, that's all it is, right?
Yeah, it like doesn't get in the way of all the other hats, I guess. So you can put on whatever else things you can do with it. And she's got some pretty cool items.
Oh, this is an interesting question. Sorry to just. Oh, well, that question was.
Did we think? Yeah.
Yes, you're right. Trashy Cat Taz. Thank you very much, Trashy Cat Taz, a fellow Lena Arcana wearer, I'm sure. So that's always a bonus too.
Maybe they got that from their side shop and they're sad now.
Maybe they got it on a CM spin. Who knows? Let me ask one more question. This is from Yuka. So shout out to Yuka. What stuff do you like about particular roles to settle on playing those? So basically, I suppose, your most common roles, what is it about them that make you settle on them? Marco, you claim to be a jack of all trades. How do you attempt to answer this question?
What do I like? I mean, in party games, I like playing. I like playing Ricky. That's a given. I used to play 2. I used to play mid all the time. Like 5.
Marco Quap, Marco Shadow Fiend, Marco
Storm,
Wind Ranger.
Marco never had an SF.
Yeah, he did.
So my Dota buff is all the most played is mids, because it just used to be exclusively mid that I was playing, and that was fun. And I guess when you're able to win the lane more often, that helps. I feel like you have to play mid quite often. You can't just casually play mid. I've learned that over the years, that if you're a casual mid, you'll just get outdone by like the mid meta and not understanding a matchup, or just being rusty, and you're against someone who's just grinded the mid. So I don't like mid anymore for that reason, but I liked it because then you could not stomp, but snowball games. I feel like you could carry much more from the mid in the past, but I think in today's games, I don't think the mid hero can take the game by its hands. I've played in lots of games where the enemy's got an immortal mid, and their impact is just so hard to make big enough. Whereas if you're the one, what I like is that you can put your head down, you can get involved when needed and help your team, but keep your head down, make the right decisions, right farming patterns, and you can carry the game on your back. So that's why I like one, and I like hitting creeps, and I like getting damage and killing heroes. So maybe I'm a selfish player, but one appeals to me for that.
Adam?
I like 5 support. That's what was my bread and butter. That's what I made all my MMR on, with a little bit of 3 mixed in. I like supports. I think I settled on it because I like trying to get the most out of something with the least amount of resources. I think that's what it comes down to. I like to see just how much of an effect you can have on the game with just like boots and a wand. Although that's not the way to play support nowadays. Nowadays you get more gold, so you actually get to do things.
Pod 6 is coming back in a little bit now that there's hard ones. You can do. There's a bit more Pod 6 potential, but yeah, definitely not like it used to be.
Yeah, I like to, especially since you have all these slots now as well. I tend to like their spells too because they're really strong in the early game. I like winning lanes. I like harassing people, I like getting off pulls and D wards.
Sounds like
things.
5. Yeah, sounds like 5's the role for you then, if you like all those things. For me, mid's the role that I played the most by far. The reason I like it, it's kind of hard to say, but the overwhelming reason I like it is because it's 1v1. For some reason, maybe from playing StarCraft 2 for a long time before, which everyone did, but I did for a lot longer than most. I only started playing Dota in 2017. Which is probably about 5 years after everyone else quit StarCraft, but there you go. So when I came to Dota, it felt natural to do the 1v1 side of it, because I just prefer that. Yeah, that's the main reason. And then I like the tempo aspect of it. I like playing heroes like Lina, Void Spirit that run around and do things. I also don't mind playing heroes like Meepo and Naga that can farm and carry, like there's options there. So I just kind of like the fact that it's a 1v1 thing. That's pretty much the driving force of why I went mid is the 1v1. I don't have to rely on anyone else. I can do it myself, at least in the laning. So that would be my answer there.
Thank you, Yuka.
Yeah, thank you, Yuka. Marco, do you have a question in the bank?
Am I on a Dota question or a non-Dota question?
Maybe non-Dota. Let's do both. Do a non-Dota and then do a Dota. Go ahead.
Dota related. What's your favorite Dota memories from Yaddle? So that's a pretty vague, broad question. Because I think there's another question in there about what's one of your most memorable or favorite Dota games. But this question is just favorite Dota memories.
Let's do both. Let's do your favorite Dota memory of like you playing, and then a favorite Dota memory that's not you playing.
Yeah, so the other one is which game of Dota you've been in sticks in your mind the hardest, from Danny, and then the other one is what's your favorite Dota memory generally, from Yaddle.
Dota memory in general, TI5 finals,
USA
taking it home,
Yeah,
USA in the crowd at the arena, very fun.
Hard to match that.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah,
That
hard to
was
beat that.
So awesome. And then, what's his name? Deadmau5. Then Deadmau5 pops out of nowhere and takes. Everyone's just like, what just happened? Why is there EDM playing all of a sudden? And it brought the mood way down. But man, seeing EG lift the Aegis, very cool.
Nice. Marco, do you have anything? I mean, maybe I'll do... It's hard to remember games that I've been in. And I'm going to choose one that's really, really random, because there have been games where obviously I played really well and got like crazy good kill scores or whatever. I'm sure there's my best game statistically will be some random Meepo stomps or something. But I actually, for some reason, I remember really strongly a game I played as Tusk in Ranked, as POS 4. And the reason I remember it is because it was one of those games, there's the Dream Tusk game, where every single time you cast a spell, you get a kill. And you just go from lane to lane to lane, and you just get kill, 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 kill. And I honestly, it was one of those games where, and this might seem like an exaggeration, but given that it's the game that I'm picking above all of the 1,000 games or whatever that I played, I'm just going to go ahead and say that it felt like I won every lane, because I literally just went top lane, kill, double kill, mid lane, gank, kill, bot lane, kill, and we ended up taking all the towers, and the game was over 15 minutes in, effectively, and I had 10 kills and a bunch of assists, no deaths. And I came out of that game feeling like it was, the perfect game, if you know what I mean. So that's the game that sticks in my mind the most. In terms of memory, there's a few. Obviously, I've been to live tournaments that were very fun, but maybe my choice wouldn't actually be a live tournament. It would be TI7. Watching TI7 in a LAN environment. Marco was there as well. We all got together at
Nick's flat, wasn't it?
Nick's flat, yeah. Big friend of the pod, Nick. Yeah, with a bunch of mates, people watched the TI7, and it was my first TI. It was actually more or less one of my first tournaments, actually. Kiev Major was my first tournament, and then TI was not too long after that. So it was my first international, watching it live with loads and loads of friends, staying up super late, 'cause obviously it's in America or whatever. So I would choose that as my favourite. And Team Liquid winning it, which was cool.
Yeah, strong memory. I was thinking which event, because obviously going to a live Dota tournament event is so much fun, and we've been to quite a few now. I think for favourite memory, the first event in Frankfurt 14. Oh, was it Frankfurt? No, was it 14? Yes, Frankfurt 24. Am I getting that right? Yeah, I think it was 2014. The first one is one of these first big live Dota tournaments, and in Frankfurt football stadium, sick setup, just so much hype and just so much excitement for one of these first big Dota events, and a credible venue and all that. And I remember the Maos. I can't remember the Chinese team they were playing, and underdogs doing some crazy axe plays on one of the Danish players, and just the crowds going wild. And that was really, really high memory, and one of the very first kind of Dota memories as well. So that sticks in there. Could also say the York Showdown, honestly, for favorite Dota memory. That's low key, I don't know what that phrase is. It's got a place in my heart. Going on the train with 5 randoms from uni that never met, but we got together to do the quals and go to York to smash some noobs and sleep over on some chairs and come home with
those chairs
with £50 in our pocket, and we're like, yeah, that was pretty sick. Get casted by Killer Pigeon.
Yeah, that was sick, to be fair. That was a great one.
Yeah,
that's
a special memory. And then
winner.
Yeah, for the game, so a couple stick in my mind. One was that Wraith King I played with you two, Adam, Chen, Stan, and best ever Razor game. That sticks in my mind just because it was such an amazing comeback, and a 50-minute game. I had the worst ever start, 0-4 in the lane, and we just hold and farm, and great team morale and great team play, etc. That was really cool. And maybe another one was back in the day, in the Liverpool flat, playing with Zayak and Magical, Na'Vi players, in a high-ranked game. Went super late game, and Mars just completely out my depth. They are Enigma with Refresher Aghanims, BKB, and Ember Spirit Magical, just they're both 6-7 slotted, super late, just dictating and going crazy. I'm just headless, flapping, just choking so hard, and just get carried insane. And I was just in awe. They're absolutely phenomenal. Just what they were able to execute and do, just completely insane. And they carried it in the 60+ minute game, and that really stuck with me as well. Nice,
yeah. You had some great high MMR pubs in Liverpool for sure. That was fun. Let's see. Let's maybe answer one or two more and then call it quits. Anyone? Adam, do you have a question? I can't remember who's meant to be choosing now. I think it's Adam.
Oh goodness. What? Well, so this fits. It's from Aesthetics, and it's about aesthetics. So, what is your favorite courier/set you own?
Oh, it has to be one that I own. Oh,
Thank
set.
you, Aesthetics,
Okay.
for your question and your contributions to the clan, the guild.
Yeah, big shout outs there, to be fair. Adam, you have some nice sets. I feel like you probably have the best. Do you have a favourite?
Oh, it's hard. I like the Cowboy PA a lot.
Nice.
That one's
Yeah,
not
that's a good
even
one.
like a Arcana or anything. And I don't know if I have a favorite courier. I felt like couriers at one time were so special, and now it's like everyone has a million of them, and they're just that used to be the most expensive thing. I remember being at the MLG Columbus, and DK was playing, and they had like a $40,000 courier.
Wow.
They had borrowed it from a guy.
Yeah.
It's one of those, like, the Defense 3 War Dogs, I think, with a crazy legacy prismatic gem or whatever. It's like a pink ethereal flame, 38K or something. Yeah, Cowboy PA. I'm partial to the CM Arcana, especially with the other CM sets you can put on her. I got like the Dota Plus CM set, and then you can like mix and match. I love the little dog that follows you around.
Yeah, nice. Marcos, cool sets.
Got to shout out Luke Monkey for sending me all these duplicates. He's funded my my armory very well. Thinking about the best.
You've become the benefactor. It used to be me. Feels bad.
Benefactor of Loop Incorporated.
Yeah, Loop PLC. Yeah.
Got shares. Fucking stocks rising. For the best items or sets, so shout out. Well, a lot of them are kind of individual items. Like Ricky has a few individual rares or arcanas or golden stuff, as opposed to a set. That I think are cool, but again, biased towards like Hero. Ember, I'm thinking about the ones I've got. Ember's a really cool one. In terms of kind of item, just I think PA Arcana. Shout out to Adam as well. Thanks for that Christmas gift. I actually think that could be the coolest. I think the kind of assassin, really cool blades. I really like that vibe. So I might have to settle on that. Honestly, it's a bit of a basic choice, but it's pretty cool.
So you can, and also you can combine the Arcana with the Cowboy PA set.
Yeah, that's top.
Yeah, you just don't get to have the ultra rare from last TI hat, like the PA.
Oh yeah,
helmet
yeah.
Because you want to have the Cowboy hat.
Another shout out final one would be Furion, and the Cypher Vice weapon is not only iconic with Bulldog using it in his prime, it is also so cool that it's literally Cypher Vice.
Yeah. Or the Faceless Void Battle Fury.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Tide Hunter with a blink's kind of interesting, or it's not as good though. For me, definitely two come to mind. My Lena set is very cool. Again, Arcana, courtesy of Adam. As we mentioned earlier, you can add stuff to it. So I've got the Glory of Elder Flame, which is from the recent Collector's Cache. That was actually sent to me by Marco. So my favourite treasure is a combination of the generosity of my two co-hosts. I also have the Fireflight Scion. I don't even know how you pronounce that. Whatever. Which is an awesome set to combine with the Arcana. So my Lena looks very, very cool. Very, very cool. And I've got the Immortal one that changes Light Strike away, whatever that's called. And then the other shout out I would give is I actually own a... Let me find out how much this item costs.
Sven Sword.
Yes, the Sven Sword. I've got a £355 Shattered Greatsword.
What?
That is not tradable.
That is not tradable. But still, it's cool. It shows up on my hero. When I play Sven, sometimes people comment Shattered Greatsword, like, Exclamation mark, and I'm like, yeah, and I just don't tell them that it's untradeable. So it looks like I've got a £355 shattered greatsword. Well, I mean, I do, I just can't sell it. I did try and sell it when I first got it. There is things you can do where you can trade it for stuff and weird things like that. Someone? Yeah, you can like gift it, and they'll gift you like Steam vouchers or something weird, or like they'll give you stuff that is tradable in you know, but it's... I tried to do that, and you've got to wait, I think, 3 weeks, because you've got to friend them, and then trades on cooldown for 3 weeks when you make a new friend on DotA. So when I did that with someone at the end of the 3 weeks, they just like ghosted me, so nothing came to pass. So at the moment, I'm just chilling with my shattered greatsword. So, all right, final question. Let's see. This can come from anyone. Do we? We can spend a minute choosing our final question here. I can cut out any thinking time. Let's see what we're dealing with here.
What is the superior brand of malt? ?
Maltesers.
What's your brand of malt? Do you have a brand of malt?
The one that I just happened to have because we had some in is Horlicks. As I've said, it went back to the 19th century and helped us through the war and all that jazz. That question from was concerned and curious about malt beverages, so shout out to that individual. There's definitely some questions or a few that we can kick off a future episode with.
Yeah, make into episodes almost even.
Definitely, yeah. Okay. In that case, let's end with a nice one. Let's end with a nice day one. How do I stay PMA when the game goes really tough? Now, I think that we need Nice Day. We need Nick Day on the podcast to answer that himself, because Nick is the one with the ultimate authority on staying PMA.
Yeah, Adam said, has Nick ever been NMA?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm usually the one that's like, this game's over. And then he's like, keep your head up.
Yeah,
keep playing.
He's never been NMA. He's, sometimes it'll be like, like express frustration, but never like NMA. So, no, I don't think so. Marco, you're always PMA. Smiley face. How do you stay PMA when you really want to press that buyback button, but, how do you stay PMA and keep your head and not buyback?
The key to that is holding Alt when you left click the buyback button. And that'll just ping it. You don't actually buy back.
You threaten the buyback.
That's the best tip, because if you're holding hold, you actually can't buy back.
Yeah. Adam, staying PMA?
Tough, because I feel like I've been slipping to the dark side.
Ooh.
Not. I will say not to like teammates or anything, just like party mates. You know what I mean? Right. Like, this game's over, like that type of stuff. I'm not like actively arguing with anybody on the team. It's more like I just feel like the game is already over.
That can be equally bad, can't it? Because that's like giving up in just a different way.
Yes. I think you just got to remember that you're bad. And if you're bad, then everyone else in the game is bad. And you could probably turn it around, because we're not pros. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't have that pro execution. So basically the PMA comes through going through the NMA tunnel. Because like we're all bad. And then you just like flame everyone, including yourself. And then you come around the other side. So let's do it. Let's prove them. Let's prove that the other team is bad by beating them.
In unison, you and your team say, the enemy team are also shit. We can win. And you often can. A genuine advice
and also,
go on.
Or it's just like, I think a lot of it is also calming down the team. That's the other part of the positive mental attitude. Is being like, when someone starts to lose it, you probably could just be like, oh, I'm sorry. I'll get it next time. Like that type of thing. And they're like taken aback, like, huh? Someone isn't trying to prove I'm wrong when I got mad at them. Like, that whole, like, no, I'm right. And then it's like 3 minutes later, like, guys, can we just play? Just be like, my bad. I think a lot of games could be saved by just saying my bad.
Yeah, that's true. Marco, are you going to make a
profound point?
Yes.
Yeah, so muting, even if it's your allies, mute the enemy team for certain. Sometimes muting your allies is really helpful. Just if people are chatting and you're reading text, you can really take your eye off the game and it can screw you up. If you need to be Omega extreme action, then you can leave the Discord and just go put some like EDM on and techno music and just go focus on your own game. That's really extreme and not really necessary for unranked.
Hopefully your party's not too flamey.
Yeah, and then what was the other one I was going to say? Oh, when the game gets tough, and how do you say PMA? Think about changing your game, because when the game's going really tough, often it's because you keep doing the same silly thing, like, you keep going back to the lane and dying, or you keep trying to fight the enemy team and losing, and the game gets really tough because you keep making the same mistake. So switch it up, and like in the early game, just go to a different lane or hit the woods a little bit, or do something that isn't the bad, shitty stuff you've been doing. Or if it's in the mid game and you keep losing team fights, think to yourself and say to your team, all right, let's actually change our strategy and not keep taking fights that we can't win. Let's split push a bit, or let's farm a bit more, or just, not take a big fight.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. That's pretty much the second point I would make slightly differently, just the way I'd word it. But yeah, the first point, definitely use that mute button. Because you spiral downwards when your team are just like toxic and they start, typing stuff at you like, oh, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? And you suddenly feel like crappy about yourself and you feel defensive and you want to type back, and that's just not good for PMA. So definitely like mute your teammates. Especially if you're playing, solo round, just mute your teammates and go. The mute button is criminally underused in Dota 2. And then the second point is when a game's really tough, focus on what you can do rather than on what you can't do. And that's going to help you be PMA a lot, I think. That's something that I've been doing more recently with some success. Like I had a game, I've been losing a fair bit this week. I was on like a 5-loss streak. And I never really got too negative in those games. I like to focus on things that the team can do, that I can do, because it's really easy when a game's going bad to be like, oh, we can't touch this Tinker. This Slark has free farm. They're so far ahead of us. We can't contest this tower. Don't focus on those things. Obviously, you need to think about them to like know where you're at in the game. But think, we can kill this hero that's by themselves, or we can split push this lane, or we can smoke and like de-ward this area. Those are positive things, and you need to be thinking of them, or else you're just going to be waiting to die, doing nothing, and or like what Marco says, you're going to keep doing the same dumb stuff that's got you into that position. So I'd just say focus on the things you can do, and that's just a positive thing in its nature, so it's going to help you be positive PMA. That's an hour and a half, so I probably should wrap it up. That said, though, all of you that have asked questions that we haven't got to, so Kevy, aka Fastest Kanye in the West, not really a question, that was just giving us a thank you to say thanks for making great Dota content in such an underrated format, makes my hour-plus commute each way to work much more interesting and informative. Thank you very much. I agree, I love podcast too for that exact reason. So much, much appreciated. Thanks for listening. And then to all the other people that have asked questions we haven't got to, Beluga, Poof the Dragon, Mojo. Oh no, we did Mojo's question, did we? I can't remember. Nudibranch, Mad Cat.
We had like 31 to pick from, so we probably got like maybe half.
Yep, something like that. And Anon, a few Anon questions. So we'll get to your questions.
We appreciate everybody asking them, because free content.
Yeah. We'll knock out a couple, 2 or 3 at the start of each episode or something. So we'll definitely get to them. We just had too many for one episode. So yeah. Any closing thoughts?
Nothing in particular. I think that was a fun discussion, nice and varied, touching on lots of different topics. Always good. Yeah.
In that case, I'll just say thanks again to all of the listeners. Thanks for tuning in. This is the end of the 100 journey. Now we just look forward to App 200, right? The 250, the quarter of the millennia. Long may it continue. Got no plans to go anywhere just yet. So yeah, keep tuning in, and we'll be back to normal Dota content next week, as well as getting through these questions, as we said. So have a final whistle. We'll see you again in a week.